A new $50 per hour federal minimum wage. Yes, you heard that correctly, $50 per hour as a new federal minimum wage. That sounds pretty nice. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know about it right here in this video. Let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to share with you the details of some new discussions that are showing up, suggesting a minimum of $50 per hour as a new federal minimum wage. That sounds really, really nice. In fact, making minimum wage probably wouldn't sound so bad after all, which, by the way, $50 per hour of a federal minimum wage would translate into $104,000 a year, a solid six figures a year for somebody earning minimum wage. Again, sounds pretty awesome. Sign me up. What other details do we need to know about it, right? Well, that's exactly what I want to share with you here in this video, which, by the way, as of right now, the federal minimum wage is sitting at $7.25. Let's just be real for a second. Who can live on $7.25 per hour anymore? This was set back in place back in 2009 and has not been adjusted since. That's a long time ago, 14 years ago as I filmed this video in the end of 2023 right now. So that's a very small minimum wage. Now, obviously, some people out there that are making minimum wage also get tips on top of that, but not everybody. That is not the case for everybody. But let me talk you through the details as far as who is suggesting this $50 per hour minimum wage on the federal level, as well as what they're discussing, because there's some other talk out there discussing at least $25 per hour. Even $25 per hour as a federal minimum wage would be pretty life-changing for a lot of people, right? That'd be a pretty solid income, about 55 to 60 grand a year is what that would come out to be. Not bad, right? Anyway, let's get into the details really fast here before we do. Thanks so much for joining me. If you have not done so, make sure to subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. The big old subscribe button waiting for you down there. Make sure to hit that. Also, right down below as well is the like button, the thumbs up button. Make sure to hit that as well. Again, it gives me anonymous feedback on videos like this to better understand, do you like this? Is this helpful to you? Is it informative? Things like that. And again, the like button is pretty nice because it's completely anonymous. I have no clue who hits it or doesn't. And again, it just gives me that feedback to better understand, do you like this stuff? And again, is this helpful to you? So again, subscribe, hit the like button down below, and let's talk about $50 per hour. And again, it's like I can't get this through my head. Seriously, this would be so awesome. Again, sign me up. Like I said, I would be very, very interested in earning $50 per hour or $104,000 a year, earning minimum wage. I'd be happy. I would make a shirt and say, I gladly earn minimum wage, right? I'm not sure about you, but that'd be a pretty awesome thing right there, right? Anyway, so here's what it comes down to. There's a couple different representatives in the state of California who are looking to replace the seat of late Senator Feinstein, who passed away recently, okay? So as a result of this, these three individuals are talking about this, and just the other day, they had this forum where they were discussing federal minimum wages. Well, here's what they came across. These three different candidates are out there discussing $20 per hour federal minimum wage, $25 per hour federal minimum wage, and then we got a flyer, $50 per hour federal minimum wage, okay? This is not a joke. Seriously, this is what they were talking about. So they all agreed at least a minimum of $20 per hour federal minimum wage would be more accurate for what people actually need right now. $7.25, I'm sorry, that's not cutting it. Even back in 2009 when that was put in place, who could really live on it back then, even 14 years ago? Again, things have changed a lot in 14 years. The value of our dollars are very, very much less than what they were 14 years ago. The depletion of purchasing power because of our friend inflation, like what we've been witnessing here over the last couple of years since mid-2021, when inflation has been through the roof and it has not been coming down, even though they continue to tell us, oh, don't worry, everybody, inflation is coming down. Really? Where? I haven't seen it. I'm not sure about you in your local area, but definitely have not seen it here. But anyway, this is what they're talking about. So basically what these three candidates are suggesting is that they basically need to implement a federal livable wage, okay? So that would be, a more reasonable way to say this is everybody needs a livable wage, right? Now, here's the thing about it. I just want to throw this out there really quickly. Do you really think a $50 per hour federal minimum wage is going to happen anytime soon? Maybe at some point way, way, way out into the future, we could maybe be looking at $50 per hour. But I would not be shocked one bit to see $20 per hour as a federal minimum wage at some point relatively soon. I would not be shocked one bit to see it brought up to that level. Now, do I think it's going to happen this year? Probably not. Is it going to be a talking point for the 2024 elections? Probably, right? Because remember, give the people what they want, or at least tell the people what they want to hear, and again, you might get a vote, right? So again, I'm not turning this into a political statement or a political video. I'm just simply saying this is what they all do every single time, right? So again, I would not be shocked one bit to see this as a hot button issue for some of the 2024 elections and campaigning, things like that, right? But anyway, this is what it comes down to. So do you think it'd be more reasonable to have a federal minimum wage of $20 per hour? Do you think a federal minimum wage should be sitting at $50 per hour or $104,000 a year as a minimum wage, okay? Could you imagine that? Again, it's just thinking about that is $104,000 a year, 6 figures as a minimum wage. That'd be pretty awesome, right? Now, I want to point this out really quickly as well. If this were to happen, do you think it would just be the same old song and dance across, products and services and things like that we all go out and buy on a regular basis? I can say this much. No, it would not be whatsoever. Why? Do you think that employers, as in businesses, small, medium, and large, would just eat that and just, pay the minimum wage at $50 an hour, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, what it happens to be, and then just eat the difference? No. How are they going to make up for it? They're going to raise their prices significantly, pass it on to the consumer. So at the end of the day, even though we'd be making significantly more money on a minimum wage, at the end of the day, we're going to be paying significantly more. That loaf of bread for, $3.89 is now going to be like $15 because they have to, because they need to pay the wages, right? A little, $20, $25 haircut, it's now going to be a $100 haircut. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff like this, it's all going to be increased because these businesses need to make up the wages somewhere, or there's just going to be mass unemployment because businesses are going to say, there's no possible way. We can't pay this, right? So either way, there's kind of this, kind of like a fine line that we need to walk down, right? $50 per hour would be amazing. It would be helpful for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it's honestly not very realistic, okay? I mean, they could certainly do it, but we would see massive, massive inflation. In fact, we wouldn't even call it just inflation anymore. We would call it hyperbolic, parabolic, whatever you want to call it, inflation. Hyperinflation is essentially what it would be, because prices would have to rise so incredibly rapidly just to keep up so that businesses could keep their doors open, because they got to get that money from somewhere, and it would need to come from the consumer, as in us, the people that are buying goods and services, so they could pay the wages, right? So anyway, interesting. But at the end of the day, I still wanted to bring this to your attention because, like I said, I would not be shocked one bit to see the federal minimum wage increasing at some point here, probably sooner than later, probably higher than the $7.25 that it's at right now. Because here's the thing, unless somebody is earning a pretty solid level of tips on a $7.25 minimum wage, that's not livable. Who can live on that? Let's just be real, right? Because remember, are you really taking home $7.25 out of a minimum wage? The answer is no. Why? The federal government comes in, takes their share. The state comes in, takes their share. FICA, as in Social Security and Medicare taxes, they take their share. Before you know it, that $7.25 per hour is probably more like $5 an hour, right? And again, $5 an hour, what can you get for $5 anymore? Probably not much, right? You can't. $5 is like a gallon of gas. It's like a loaf and a third of bread, right? It's like a gallon of milk and maybe like a dozen eggs if you're lucky, right? It is not much. So anyway, thought this was pretty interesting. We will see how this goes, where this happens to turn out, how this whole idea transpires, and what happens to the federal minimum wage, as it's been a very long time, 14 years since they have adjusted this back in 2009, right? It's about time, especially as of recently with the, with the inflation we've been dealing with for the last couple of years now, 2.5 years. This has been really rough for a lot of people, especially those lower income people and fixed income beneficiaries as well. Living on these small incomes, rough times, right? Anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, I just want to point this out for you really quickly. What I'm finding out there from the research, yeah, a lot of weird stuff on a daily basis. Either way, I'll continue to keep it posted with all the details. I'll break it all down for you. I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. That's my dedication. That's my promise. And as always, that's my commitment to you and everybody right here in the community. So please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media. Hit that like button down below. Gives me some feedback on these videos. And again, enjoy your day. Go back and check out some of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take care. And maybe we'll cross our fingers for $50 an hour here pretty soon, right? Anyway, enjoy. I'll catch you again later.